Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is September 6th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1958, one half of the Faces of Fear, The Barbarian. 1961, legendary women's wrestler, Wendy Richter. 1979, the always controversial, Low Ki. And last but not least, 1980. Whether she's known for that big mole on her face or her singing voice, it's Jillian Hall. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for September 6th. 2003, The Great Antonio. 2011, Little Tokyo. Alright, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for September 6th. A short trip in the Wayback Machine today as we start in 1972, where we see the Sheik defeat Seiji Sakagachi in Tokyo, Japan to win the NWA United National Heavyweight title. That belt is now part of the All Japan Triple Crown. Grabbing my boombox and going to the 80s, 1981, Ron Bass defeats Greg Valentine to win the NWA television title in Asheville, North Carolina, ending Valentine's fourth and final run with that belt. Grabbing my flannel and going to the decade of grunge, 1993, the Moondogs, Spike and Cujo, defeat the Dogcatchers for the USWA Tag Team titles in Memphis, Tennessee, starting their second reign. Moving to 1996, during a Friday night edition of Raw, due to the U.S. Open Tennis, Jim Ross shocks and confuses fans by saying that Razor Ramon and Diesel were in talks to return to the WWF. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, working for WCW, deny Ross's claim. Ross would repeat the statement again on WWF shows and would later introduce the new Diesel, Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, and the new Razor, Rick Bogner, aka Big Titan. Since WWF did own the names of the characters of Diesel and Razor, they were within their rights to have new wrestlers portray those roles. However, the idea was not accepted by the fans. And last but not least, 1997, Steve Dunn defeats Doomsday, aka Kane, Glenn Jacobs, for the USWA Southern Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee. He would be the last man to hold that title as the company would close down 2 months later. Those were your super short, but super sweet, pro wrestling history highlights for September 6th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and I promise I won't step over any more words.